We're all arrested in the Ravenite Club. I'm brought to a car with Frank and Maddie. These are two agents who were assigned to me for a very, very long time. I know them well. So I get cuffed and I get in that car. I believe John Gotti got in the car with George Gabriel. He was a case agent on the case. Frankie Licasio was in another car. I'm not sure who he was with. By this time, once we left the Ravenite Club and we're in cars, there's not only a bunch of FBI agents, but there's a shitload of NYPD. Some news media is starting to gather, and it seems like an entourage of people. We're on our way to MCC in New York. Frank and Maddie tell me, Sammy, do you have money on you? Jewelry, stuff like that? I said, yeah, why? If you want, you could give it to us. We'll give it to Deb. They're talking about Deb. It's like her sister or something. I mean, you'll give it to Deb. He said, because you know, once you take it to MCC and it's checked in, you'll never see that money or jewelry again. So I thought it was a good idea. They took the cuffs off me. I went in my pocket, I kept $50 to roll in with. I took my jewelry off and I gave it to them. And we headed to MCC. By the time we got to MCC, it's not that far away from the club. There was a boatload of reporters, press, NYPD, marshals, US Marshals, everybody and their mother was there. I knew this was serious. I know it had a lot of teeth to it. So we were taken out of the vehicles and brought into MCC, and we kind of checked in. They asked me if I had any jewelry. I told them no. And do you have money on you? I said, yeah, I have $50. John made a big joke about that. He said, that's all you have, is $50? I said, yep, that's all I got. He said, remind me when we get out, I got to give you a raise. The cops, the agents laughed. It was funny. It was cute. John had those cutesy little remarks and stuff, which is pretty good. John had a couple of thousand on him. Frankie Licasio had a couple of thousand on him. They had a little bit of jewelry. Everything was taken. I don't know if they ever got it back, but I know that Deb got it back the following day. They went to the house and they gave my wife the jewelry, the money, and I had at least $3,000-4,000. So they gave her everything. They lived up to their word, and they always seemed to be like that anyway. So we got in and we went into the hole, 9 South. I went into a cell with John Gotti. Frankie was in a cell by himself. Across from us, Tommy Karate was in a cell. He was already arrested and in a cell, and we were on the same tier, all of us. And it was crazy. One day, I was allowed to make a phone call, and they were collect calls. And I talked to the operator, my name, and who I was calling. The operator told me, Sammy, is it you, Sammy the Bull? I couldn't believe the operator was talking to me and called me Sammy the Bull. So I says, yeah, I guess it is. Who are you? She says, no, I'm a fan. And she talked to me a little bit. And I said, all right, do me a favor, put this call through. She put the call through. And it was like that all over the prison. Everybody was talking about us in the prison, guards, inmates, everybody. I was getting at least 30 to 40 cards and letters and stuff from people from all over the place. And I believe it was 30 or 40, something like that number. And John was he must have been getting 100, 150 letters and cards every day. It was driving the guards crazy to bring us our mail. It was bothering them, but they had to do their job. Hey guys, you know, I've found a company, and it's two guys who dropped out of college. And they started a company, and they wanted to make watches, affordable watches. I bought the gold watch, was Muse Gold. I love it. If you want to elevate your style without breaking the bank, join the movement and get 15% off today with free shipping and free returns. Go to mvmt.com/ourthing. Get it now. Remember, they dropped out of college before they wake up and they're going to start charging big prices. So go to it now. That's mvmt.com/ourthing. One day, I was going to take a shower. The guard comes to the cell, cuffs me, walks me across the hall, puts me in the shower. My hands go through the door, uncuffs me, and he turns the water on. The water starts running, and it's hot. Blistering hot. It's actually burning me. And I start yelling for the guard to come. My toes and my feet, it's starting to puddle up, and I'm burning. On the ledge, there's a small little ledge. I put my toes on the ledge, lift my body up to get out of the water, and the water is just bubbling around me. And I start hollering big time for the guards. A guard comes up and he says, "What is it?" I said, "The fucking water is steaming hot and I can't shut it off. I can't do anything. Lower the fucking temperature on this thing." And he says, "Well, I'm busy right now." Busy? And I fucking freak out. I'm getting burnt now. And I've got my hand and I'm smashing it into this little window that you can't really break it. And I'm banging this fucking window. And all of a sudden I hear fucking John Gotti screaming and yelling at the top of his lungs. Tommy Karate's banging things against the door. Everybody's going a little nuts. Finally, a lieutenant and a couple of guards come up. They fix the problem. I take the shower. I'm burnt a little bit. And I go back and I'm cuffed when I get out, but I want to strangle this fucking guard. I am so fucking hot. John is still hot, and I get back into the cell with John. He starts complaining. "Did you hear Frankie LaCasio?" I said, "No, I didn't hear nothing, bro. I was burning. I didn't know who I heard a lot of yelling. Why? What did he do?" He said, "This fucking bum didn't even yell or bang on the fucking thing. Tommy Karate was doing it." So I said, maybe he was sleeping. Maybe he didn't hear the whole thing. Hear the whole thing? I think half the fucking prison heard this. So I said, well, I don't know. Maybe, what do you want me to tell you, bro? Life went on. We had court dates and all kinds of things were happening. I knew there was tapes, but I didn't hear them. I didn't know what they were. I didn't know where they came from. And we went to one of the hearings, and Judge Ilio Glasser said, "How could you keep them in the hole? They didn't do anything. How could they fight their case from the hole?" I think you have to evaluate whether they're a flight risk or a threat to society and so on and so forth. So they mentioned something about being a flight risk, and the judge said, well, he pointed to me. This guy, Gravano, was in a tax evasion case, pretty serious case in front of me. I gave him bail. He was on time in court at every date. And when it came time for sentencing at the end, not sentencing, but whether he was guilty or not guilty, I told him to stand. He stood. And if he knew if he was guilty, that he would be remanded on the spot, and he was there. I saw his family there a couple of times. So I don't see him as a flight risk. Show me how they, all of them, are a threat to society. So the judge actually put the government under pressure. The first thing the government did in the prison is they had a tier. I'm not exactly sure, J tier or something like that. They took this one tier, they emptied it out, and they put, there was 8 cells. I was in a cell, John was in a cell, Frankie was in a cell. There was 2 Indian guys, Indian sheiks or sheikhs or whatever they were, terrorist guys were in there, in each different cell. There was Joe Dougherty, an Irish so-called terrorist. He was with the IRA. He was in there. Johnny Khan, the head of the Chinese drug organization, and another guy who was a Puerto Rican, who was head of a Puerto Rican drug gang. So that everybody had their own cell. In the hallway, they put 2 tables that you could sit and maybe play cards. At the end of the tier, there was a phone on the wall. And at the end of the tier, of course, the bars went right across. So this wasn't population, really. But they let us out in the morning so that we can hang and talk to one another. And they were trying to get away with that with the court. And they did for a while. This is where I talked about this prior. Frankie LaCasio had a job to go clean the kitchen. And he came back and he had these 12 oranges, beautiful oranges. I never even saw an orange this beautiful. And I told him, where the fuck did you get them oranges? He said, they're probably for the guards. It's not for the inmates. And I robbed them, 12 of them. Take one, Sammy. I took one. John would sleep until 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. We would get up early, 7 in the morning. We'd come out and bullshit, watch the TV that was in the thing there and whatever. And so I took one, and he was going to take one. And he said, the other 10, I'll give it to John. I had said to him, that's the right way. He's the boss. He should get the lion's share. Give him the whole 10. He took them in his cell, waiting for John to get up. I was sitting at the table when John got up. He must have overheard us. He got up a little bit early that day, and he came out of his cell. I could see the puss on his face. He was mad at something. So he sat at the table. I said, good morning, boss. He didn't hardly respond. Frankie came out of his cell. He saw him. He got all the other oranges, put them in his T-shirt, came to the table, opened his T-shirt, plopped them on the table, said, here, John, this is all for you. John said, stick them up your ass. I was shocked when I heard that. He said, pointed to me, he says, he's not the boss. I'm the fucking boss. And you gave it to him first. I said, John, you were sleeping. Shut the fuck up. I'm not talking to you. And I shut up. He was ripping into Frankie something awful. It was embarrassing. So I looked around, turned my head. I didn't say anything, not supposed to. And I looked at all the guys. Everybody was looking. So I clapped my hands a couple of times in front of me. I said, hey, listen, fellas, do me a fucking favor. All of you go back into your cells. And he tells me, what are you, a tough guy now? You're going to tell them all to go back into their cells? I said, I'm not trying to be a tough guy, John. You have the right, you're the boss, to abuse me. You could abuse Frankie, but not in front of all these fucking people, bro. You're going to tell me Cosa Nostra? John, I know Cosa Nostra as well as you. I may not be the boss, but I understand and I know Cosa Nostra. You don't have that fucking right to do what you're doing right now. You're hot for whatever reason, but you don't have that right. He banged his hands on the table and was getting up like he was going to hit me or something. When I went in to prison, I'm a small guy. Took steroids a little bit. I was 198 fucking pounds with a 32-inch waist. I was a fucking animal. I just stared at him. I said, "You gonna raise your hands? Remember the rules that goes in Austria. You raise your fucking hands to me. I got the right to fight back or kill you if I could. And I will. Raise your hands. Boss or no fucking boss." He said, "We'll straighten this out when we get out on the street." Now, I've did a lot of work. I've done a lot of things for the family. I said, "You're fucking damn right. When we get the fuck out, yeah, we'll straighten this out in the street." That ended. We go by and time goes by and whatever, and we're in this side. One day the guard came to me and said, "Sammy, we're going to do a little recreation on the roof. Do you want to go?" I had said, "Yeah, let me go." He says, "But it's raining." I said, "I don't give a fuck. I'll go on the roof." "You got a jacket and a hat or something up there?" Yeah, we got that." I was in the military when I was a young kid. I got drafted into the military. I went in at 19 years old and I came out at 21. I had good feelings in the military. So I go up on the roof for this thing, and it's raining. They hand me a fatigue jacket, a military jacket, of all jackets to give me, and a military cap. So I guess they got government surplus and they got this stuff, and I go out in the fucking rain, walking around in circles. And it just brought back all my military experiences, the love I had for the military. It was just a good vibe. I came down after that and went into the thing, and I told him, it was raining. What'd they give you? Well, I said, a military jacket and a cap. I said it was good because I was in the military. Fuck the military. We don't want the country to win. We want us to lose. Fuck the military. I think it was the original George Bush was the president or some fucking bullshit. We were still at war or something. But anyway, I really didn't like it. I didn't want, and I had told him, "Bro, there's our kids and people's kids and in the military going, we're out fucking war. You want them to die and we lose?" I didn't pay it no mind, but that was another experience. Hey guys, I want to tell you about this stuff. I'm not a tech guy, but my team explained it. It's ExpressVPN, and it protects your computers, your laptops, and all stuff, because now they find out what you're talking about, what you're doing. They sell it, and all of a sudden on your phone you're getting different people advertising and doing things that annoy the shit out of you. You might be getting phone calls. This company protects that stuff. Protect your online activity today with the VPN rated _1 by Business Insiders. Visit my exclusive link, expressvpn.com/ourthing, and you could get 3 months free on a 1-year package. And again, it's expressvpn.com/ourthing. Then he was telling me, start to break bowls so we get thrown out of here when we can get put back in population. A couple of times when I went to visit one time, my wife would come an hour early to see me. She would wait online and but his brother Pete would come late. So when they called Gravano, visit, and he didn't get called, it drove him fucking crazy. And he abused his brother. I'm the fucking boss and he's getting called first. Where the fuck are you? You better be here first. So I get called out first. I thought he was losing his fucking mind. So anyway, my wife tells me that Pete's asking to go first. I said, fuck Pete. Come when you want to come and do what you want. Then bitch slap this motherfucker if he tells you what to do. Don't worry about him. Do what the fuck you want. Nobody's going to tell you what to do. You're my wife. You do what you want. So one day when she came, she was there obviously earlier again. And Pete came and he saw she was going in first. And he kind of like tried to park the car. He thought he put it in park, but he actually put it in neutral, jumped down and started running. The car started rolling downhill, hitting 2 cars, 3 cars. It was a fucking complete joke. Another time we went on a visit and my wife was sitting next to me and she was rubbing my hand, the newspapers, seems really serious. I said, don't believe the newspaper, don't believe anything they say. Frankie LaCasio leans over to me and he's gonna whisper something in my ear. So I lean next to him and he says, listen, Sammy, tell your wife to stop rubbing your hand. I turn around, I look at him. What the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean? Tell her to stop rubbing my hand. I didn't even realize she was rubbing my hand. He said, John said you gotta act like the underboss. Act like an underboss. I look at John, he's got his arms crossed in front of him, big smirk on his face, and he's nodding. That's right, that's right. I'm fucking fuming. I turned to my wife, I said, listen, babe, stop rubbing my hand. Why? Because you're not allowed a contact visit. If they see you touching me, rubbing my hand, they may take it as a contact visit and they break the visit up. They'll stop us. So stop it. It was bullshit answer, but I didn't even know what the fuck else to say. So she stopped rubbing my hand. When the visit was over, we all went in. Me, Frankie, John, strip search. We all stripped down. The guard is looking at us, bend over, do this, do that. So I said, John, what was the problem with my wife rubbing my hand? He said, Sammy, you're the underboss. Act like an underboss. She's not supposed to be rubbing your hand. She's not supposed to be rubbing my hand and feeling sorry for me. She wasn't touching my dick. Hey, don't be a fucking smartass. It's my wife. She felt horrible that I was going to prison and she was rubbing my fucking hand. How is that not being an underboss? The guards, all right, come on. We don't want no arguing here. Break it up. We went back. I did 11 months with John, and I'll explain a lot of these things. It was the worst 11 months I ever did in prison. I got 22 years in prisons. He didn't want to go to prison. Every fucking thing bothered him. So finally, we're going to make a fucking move. A captain comes with some guards another visiting day, and he's breaking my balls to do something. So I said, hey, Cap, to the captain, come here, bro. When we go in on a visit, we're not coming back out. What'd you say? You heard me. I said, you're standing here with 2 guards. We were about to go in. You better go get more guards. You ain't got enough guards with 2 guards. He said, are you losing your fucking mind? We'll see who's losing their mind. When I go on the visit, I'm not coming back. I'm not doing my time on this fucking tier no more. He walked away. And we went out on a visit. Now, I didn't know, I had no clue on what to say or do, and that's the only thing I could possibly even think of to annoy him or do whatever. All of a sudden on the visit, there's the captain, a lieutenant, there must be 6 guards. I said, oh my God, they took this to heart. They really thought like we were gonna fight everybody not to go back in. So anyway, I got up and I stood up a little bit and he waved to me to come on. I went over to him. He said, Sammy, are you for real? I said, bro, I was breaking your balls, for real. I'm not gonna go back in. Where am I gonna go? Sit out in this fucking room all day? I'm gonna go back in. Don't even worry about it. It's all bullshit. Don't worry about it. And they left. And we went back in. But it did spark another hearing into the court. And the judge said, if you don't show me a reason beyond just keeping him in a hole. Now, they're on a tier. That's not population. I told you to put them in population. Now, if they're not in population, I'm going to have another hearing and a bail hearing. Don't force my hand. So he forced the government in, show me how they're a threat to society. That's the first I hear the tapes. In open court, the government, to show the judge, plays the tapes. The tapes, I'm not on these tapes at all. It's John Gotti and Frankie LaCasio. Frankie LaCasio is hardly even talking. It's mostly John, complaining about me killing union people and taking over unions, killing my partners and taking over their businesses. None of that is never true. I never did that.